I feel that I am merely an agent, giving you some keys which have been given to me to pass on to you. These keys are to unlock doors out of your present prison, doors opening on new vistas, doors beyond where you are now.
That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on the mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot.
At last. I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice. Tumbling down the rabbit hole?
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. There's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you want to know what it is?
This is the world as it exists today.
Children among those wounded in the latest wave of airstrikes and tank fire. The civilian death toll in Gaza is rising by the day, and the humanitarian crisis is deepening.
Each other off. And it's time that some of us woke up to this reality, to understand that people who try to maintain empires and create empires do it by manipulating the people they're trying to conquer.
Control. You have to let it all go, Neo. Fear, doubt, and disbelief. Free your mind.
Now, if that isn't a hazard to this country, how are we going to keep building nuclear weapons? You know what I mean? What's going to happen to the arms industry when we realize we're all one? It's going to fuck up the economy. The economy that's fake anyway. The economy that's fake anyway. The economy that's fake anyway. The economy that's cracking down.
Wouldn't that be newsworthy just once, to base your decision on information rather than scare tactics and superstitions and lies? Just once. I think it would be newsworthy. Today, a young man on acid realized that all matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration, that we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There's no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we're the imagination of ourselves. Here's Tom with the weather.
You come from realms of unimaginable power and light, and you will return to those realms.
And this is the place where I believe it serves us to go into some of the most ancient traditions, some of them 7,000 years old in the case of the Vedas. Max Planck, in 1944, in just a stroke of brilliance, identified this field as the matrix. And what he said, in 1944, he said that all matter, the stuff our world is made of, he said it originates and exists only by virtue of a force. And he said we must assume behind this force the existence of what he called at that time a conscious and intelligent mind. And then he said this mind is the matrix.
You are a divine being. You matter. You count.
The agenda at this level is to structure the world with a world government dictating to every country, a world central bank dictating all global finance to every person in every country, a world army to impose the will of the world government on every country that doesn't want to accept it, a global single currency that will be electronic, not cash. And the other key part of this agenda I'm just describing is microchip people. And when I started saying that this was what was planned 10, 15 years ago, people said, and I understand it, they found it ridiculous, they sounded extreme and far-fetched. Well, not anymore, because it's being openly talked about. When people say, oh, but it's frightening, yes, well, deal with it then. Because getting the information out there for vast numbers of people to simultaneously see it and therefore have the power of numbers to do something about it. Okay, people will be, oh my God, what's happening? Oh God, it's terrible. Yes, but is that worse than saying nothing, doing something, and then one day, knock, knock, knock. Oh, that's the door, darling. I wonder who's there. Who's going to help you then? Would you come this way, madam? Would you come this way, sir? We have a van for you. Are you gonna be? Oh, I'm so happy. I'm glad that man didn't frighten me now. Right? We need to be adults about this. We need to face it. The reason we got in this mess is people did not want to face the fact that things were happening in the world that they really would rather believe were not happening. So what do? They go into cognitive dissonance, as it's called. For people who haven't come across that, this is the great control mechanism of humankind. Cognitive dissonance is when your belief, or what you like to be the case, is at odds with the information or the experiences you're having that are telling a very different story. What this creates, cognitive dissonance, is an unease, a vibrational unease, a dissonance, because you can't sync the two things. Now, there's two ways of reacting to that. There's a good way, which says, well, in the light of this information, this new information, or this experience I'm having now, clearly my view that I've held up to this point doesn't stand up anymore, so I'm going to change my view and perception, and I'm going to have moved on. I'm going to become bigger than I was before. What the vast majority of people do, they look at this new information, and it might challenge their religion, it might challenge their political view, it might challenge whatever, and they say, I don't accept that. This belief system, this perception, that's immovable. So somehow I have to explain that away. And they lie to themselves.